I want to walk you through MLA essay format, the Modern Language Association essay format, in case you have never written a paper using MLA style before. So let's go back to our course. And one of the things I have provided over here along the left is the MLA essay format link. And this takes you to the some information from the Purdue OWL, O-W-L, the Purdue Online Writing Lab. And so this explains what MLA essay format looks like, what is included in it, and just some different tips about formatting your paper. So the paper, of course, this says to type it, and you won't really be typing it. You'll be word processing it, and you will not print it out. But it should be the regulation 8.5 by 11 inch paper, and that's what most Word documents are default to. You would have to change that if you wanted to change it to, say, legal size or something else. So it's just regular 8.5 by 11 size. It should be double spaced in its entirety. Everything in it is double spaced. And you should use a legible font. It suggests Times New Roman, although I believe Microsoft Word defaults now to either Calibri or Arial, and either of those is fine. Whatever font you choose, you want to make sure that the font and the italics version of the font are distinguishable from each other. So for instance, with a Lucida handwriting font, it kind of looks like handwriting, like script. And so that and its italics version probably wouldn't be very distinguishable from each other, and so that wouldn't be a good choice. And so Times New Roman is a good serif font. Arial and Calibri are good sans serif fonts, so whichever of those you prefer. And the font size should be either 11 or 12. This says 12. Leave only one space after periods or other punctuation marks. That was new for me. I tended to use 2 spaces. This suggests compressing your text and using only 1 space. Your margin should be preset to 1 inch on all sides, and that's what Microsoft Word documents will default to. Indent the first line of each paragraph. Preferably use the Tab key to indent. Create a header that numbers all of your pages consecutively. That header will be in the upper right-hand corner, and it will be flush with the right margin. It will actually have your last name, a space, and the page number, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. Use italics in your paper when you talk about titles of long works. So, for instance, the name of a book, the name of a magazine, the name of an album, the name of a film, the name of a TV show. Use quotation marks for the names of shorter works. And so those would be the names of an article, the name of a song, the name of a poem, the name of a chapter title, the name of a TV show episode. So those are shorter works to distinguish between long works and short works. You will not have any end notes, but you will have that separate works cited page at the end. So to format the first page of your paper, you do not have a title page. MLA does not require a title page. We will use APA on the final paper of the semester, and it does require a title page, but MLA style does not. Instead, in the upper left-hand corner of the first page, you will give your name and then hit enter to double space, your instructor's name, then hit enter to double space, then the course name or information, English 101, and you can put the section number in there if you want, or writing 1 for the course name, and then hit enter to double space, and then the date, and that's probably the due date of the paper or the date that you write the paper to turn it in. Then you double space, hit return 1 more time, and then center your title. Do not underline it, italicize it, place it in quotation marks, do anything fancy to it. The only thing you might put in quotation marks is if you are using Stephen March's article's title and you say, my strong response to the epidemic of facelessness, and then the epidemic of facelessness, because it is a name of an article, would be in quotation marks. It would be in title case, meaning that it is not in all capital letters, but only the first and last words and any main words are capitalized. Then you hit enter 1 more time, go back to your left margin, tab in, and start your first paragraph. So no extra spaces anywhere. This is just fully, truly double spaced from the top. And then there it explains that you're about the header in the upper right hand corner with your last name, a space, and the numeral for your page. All right, so then I have the link to the Purdue OWL, so you can access that and see that if you want to. All right, I'm going to open, it may not let me do this. I was going to open a Word document and show you how to do this. Let me do that. So I have opened Microsoft Word. I clicked in my lower left-hand corner to create a new document, and it is asking me what kind of document I want. I don't want just a blank document. I could do that, then I would need to do all the formatting from scratch. I am going to instead click to look for an MLA essay and see what it finds for me. Let me try MLA style. Oops. Okay. All right, and so it finds me an MLA style research paper or a style paper. I'm going to choose the style paper, tell it to create that. And now what it will do for me is everything will be double spaced. Everything is just created the way I want it from the beginning. And so I'm going to double click up here, double click up in the header. I'm going to change this to Swango, my last name. You would put your last name. It needs to be capitalized. Let me correct that. And a space and the numeral for my page number. Then I'm going to double click out of that. Okay, I double clicked to be up in that grayed out area, the header. I double click to be out of it. Okay, so I'm going to now click over this and I'm going to put my name in as the student. So I'm going to put in, you would put your name, and then I highlight this next. Do you see how I'm not highlighting it, deleting it? I'm just clicking on it, it selects it, and then I'm going to put my teacher's name in. So Mrs. Swango, Kathy Swango, Professor Swango, whatever you want to do. I select, I click on this next piece. Again, I'm not deleting it. I don't have to delete it before I start typing. I just select it and then start typing, okay? And then I select on this and I put my date in. And I don't remember what date this paper is due. Seems like it might be February 8th. And I've got a typo there, so I need to click on this, right click on it. Oops, and it doesn't. February. Okay, there we go. All right. Then I click here and put my title or my subtitle. I can double click and it's not letting me do that. I don't really, and I'm not going to have a subtitle, so I'm going to say strong response essay. Since I don't have a catchy name to call it, I'm going to get rid of that, colon. And now I'm going to click on this and it selects the entire paper. You see how each paragraph is indented. It's going to give you some tips about how to write it and all of that. And so when you're ready to type your paper, you can come back in and start that. Canadian author Stephen March wrote a 2015 article discussing the problem, a current problem, an ongoing problem with social media. His article, An Epidemic of Facelessness, discusses blah, 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 blah. Okay? And I would go on and explain that. So I'm going to come on down here because it provides additional information about how to do, again, endnotes. We're not going to have endnotes. We're probably not going to have indented quotes, but if we did a quote of more than 4 lines, then this is how it would be formatted. You're not going to have a table in this paper. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the table. I'm not going to have a figure, any pictures, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm just going to delete all of that. And now it brings me to my Works Cited page. Now, for some reason, this is formatted wrong, and you need to correct it. The title needs to be centered. So I'm going to click on Home. I'm going to find my center icon here. I'm going to move that to the center. Okay. I also see that it hasn't carried over my name, and I don't know why. So I'm going to click that and put my last name in there with a space. Double click off of that. I'm going to look back and see if it's done. It's done it correctly now. I see that page 2 is correct, and so there we go. So with this, since I have provided for you in the February 1st folder all of the information that you need for your Works Cited, I'm going to see if I can come back over here and find that. I'm not seeing my, let's see. Let me find that, and from my course materials, from my strong response essay from February 1st, and I just happen to know it's all the way down here at the bottom. So if you are using the paper copy of the textbook, you'll have page numbers. Here you are. You'll copy this one. If you are using the online Revel version, you will use this. So whichever one of those you're using, I'm going to select that and copy it. I'm going to bring it back to my Word document. I'm going to select this whole thing and I'm going to paste that in. Control V. It messed it up. I needed to do that differently. I'm going to undo that, and instead of copying and pasting that way, I'm going to right click and I'm going to use this center option to merge the formatting. What that does is that merges the formatting from what I just copied, with what I'm pasting it into. It kept my italic for the name of my magazine and of my textbook, and it kept my indentation. It kept all of that, and so I have maintained my formatting and have begun. I have everything ready now except for typing my paper in. And all I need to remember with that is no extra double spacing, no make sure that I indent. If I do a quote like this, then I want to make sure that I've provided that. And I am ready now to save my paper, and I can reuse it if I want to for each of the MLA style papers that I write for the class.